sense. A common mouth where the lights switch on and the noise fades out. I've seen stories dressed up right, but something never feels quite right. Big reactions, flashing signs, but truth gets lost between the lines. Out here we keep it real and clean, cut through the static on the screen. If it's loud, confusing, wild within, you know I'll break it down again. The chatter climbs, the views go up, opinions spilling, overflow the cup. But I stay focused, clear and calm, and bring the facts like a grounding bomb. Hold tight, the drop's about to hit. Laurie Funk's coming, carrying the noise on the start. Deeply drunk, golden ray. Steady rhythm, keeping everything intact. I got head and a beat rid of bite. Open to the space where we get it right. Laurie Facts, we keep it open and real. Let the beat drop, let the chaos reveal. Some things online look shiny new, but sometimes they just don't ring true. Echoed stories start to drift, and clarity becomes a gift. I'm not here for smoke or haze. I light it up in honest ways. Break it down with steady spark and shine a lantern through the dark. The comments fly, the pace speeds up, the scroll keeps spinning like a lifted cup. But I stay grounded, strong and sure, bringing insight you can trust for sure. Hold tight, round two. Lauren Facts, real the bar as a neon song. Real talk, real roads, real proof. Steady rhythm moving roof to roof. When the moments spin, we slow it down. Bring it back, break up the full sound. Lauren Facts, let the real begin. Turn it up, let the chaos kick in. Laurie Facts, Laurie Facts. Lights on, clarity in. Let the chaos begin.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome in. I am Lori Fax, and today we're just going to talk a little bit about the latest updates for the Rebecca Park case. Now, I am fairly new, obviously, to YouTube. We can go into that another day as to why I've actually decided to do this, but there's a lot of me that feels that these cases deserve a bit of integrity, and not so much of the circus. So with that, I say welcome in. Today we are going to talk about the Rebecca Park case updates. This week there were new affidavits released, and they are deeply disturbing. This is a facts-only update. No speculation. Well, maybe a little bit of speculation based off of my opinion, but no theatrics. I want to start by saying that this case is dark and twisted. This is not anything that anybody wanted to actually talk about in real life, but unfortunately, sometimes we have to. Unfortunately, what has happened to Rebecca Park is beyond disturbing. The details that have been released in the affidavits are worse than most people realize, and they were done by people who should have loved and protected Rebecca. So today isn't going to be about shock value. It's going to be about facts. And I'm going to tell this story the way that I think that it should be told, um, a way that explains sort of what happened, but it doesn't exploit it. If you're expecting me to actually show you the affidavits, I will not be doing that. I will, however, have QR codes on one of these frames that I show that you can download them yourself and look at them if you choose to read them. I do have to give a trigger warning. They are extremely detailed, they're extremely graphic, and they are extremely disturbing. So we will start with the beginning. Who was Rebecca? Rebecca Park was a 22-year-old, heavily pregnant mother. She was 38 weeks pregnant. She has two small children. She was engaged in a complicated, to say the least, relationship. She had her whole life ahead of her. She was last seen November 3rd, 2025, with her biological mother, Courtney Bartholomew. She was later found deceased and mutilated November 25th in the Manistee National Forest. This was a young mother who was about to give birth within days, and she was taken from the world. The why really hasn't been answered yet. But the how has sort of been answered. Again, investigators released sworn affidavits this week. These are not rumors. These are documents that are used to charge suspects with a crime. They explain why prosecutors believe a crime has occurred and what those crimes actually are. These are graphic. They include devastating details, and they're full of contradictions. They have digital detailed evidence. And again, they are very, very graphic in nature. So please heed that warning before you go in and read them. The first one is 18 pages long. The second one is 3 pages long, I believe. The 3-page one is about Kim, her sister, and the 18-page one is about both her biological mother and her stepfather, Courtney and Brad Bartholomew. So who has been charged? Who has been accused? Well, we have Rebecca's biological mother, Courtney Bartholomew, Rebecca's stepfather, Brad Bartholomew. Both have been charged with first-degree premeditated murder, homicide, felony murder, torture, conspiracy to commit torture, assault of a pregnant individual causing miscarriage or stillborn, conspiracy to assault a pregnant individual causing a miscarriage or stillborn, and removing a dead body without the medical examiner. Let that sink in. Not a stranger, but the people that she should have been safe with, the people who were supposed to love her. Also charged with crimes is her sister, Kim Parks. She's been charged with tampering with evidence, lying to a peace officer during a violent criminal investigation, and filing of a false report of a felony. So it's a family affair. And that's the least part of it. That's a family affair. It's very, very twisted and dark, and there's so much with this. It's absolutely insane what's happened. So we have the actual affidavits, the core allegations in this case. So according to investigators, Rebecca was unfortunately alive during this assault. The baby was removed while she was conscious, and these statements come from the suspect's interviews. This is what law enforcement said they were told. Courtney Bartholomew, she has multiple versions of events. She originally told her sister that she had a baby in the NICU. That was prior to Rebecca going missing. After Rebecca goes missing, she tells her sister that the baby passed away. She admits that she had had a relationship with Fowler, Rebecca's fiance, that she actually was going to divorce her husband, Brad, at one point and was with Fowler. And then, for whatever reason, they got back together, her and Brad. And I guess Fowler got with Rebecca. She claims that she had advised Rebecca to leave Fowler, that there was all these different things. But at the end of the day, yeah, Fowler had a relationship or whatever with Courtney Bartholomew. Later on, he also had one with Kim Parks. So there's that. Courtney claims that Fowler was angered, had come to the house at one point to shoot Brad, and ended up raping her and causing her own miscarriage because she had been pregnant at some point. As far as Rebecca's murder, she claims Brad is to blame. Her story changes over time. She states Brad began stabbing Rebecca in the truck. She then changes that to Brad pulled Rebecca out of the truck by her arm and then stabbed her. Her final statements that she made include her admissions that she cut the baby out of Rebecca while Rebecca was alive, and Brad was holding a knife to her throat, which he then later used to slice Rebecca's throat. She claims Brad drugged Rebecca's body with the truck so that they could conceal it. States that she was going to cut that baby out and give it to Fowler, which I don't know how she would have done that without admitting that they had done something to Rebecca, but sure, that's a claim. Claims that they performed CPR on the baby. And when that was unsuccessful, they disposed of the baby by using Brad's lunch cooler and trash bags, throwing it into a dumpster or a trash bin. Claims that the baby was not Fowler's, but belonged to her husband's. Now, that's not a proven fact, and I guess that couldn't be proven until there's some type of a DNA test done, which they would obviously need the baby's remains for that. Then we will move on to Brad, or Bradley Bartholomew. He also has many contradictions and conflicting accounts in his story. He eventually does admit his involvement, claims that Courtney told him originally that her and Fowler did something bad. This is several days after Rebecca went missing. There's a point in there where they actually burn the seat covers for the truck, and the truck gets clean, and there's blood on the dash, and that's all in the affidavit. He tells police that he could 100% see her, meaning Courtney, cutting up her own flesh and blood, meaning her daughter. He later claims that he actually was present, but he wasn't the one who stabbed her. He blames that with Courtney. He says that they were driving down the road, and out of nowhere, Courtney just starts stabbing Rebecca while he's driving, saying Courtney did it. She stabbed Rebecca. She cut the baby out. She burnt the seat covers, and so on. Claims that she's the one that used the cooler and the trash bags. He did, however, help dispose of the knife, the cooler, clean the truck, and the baby's body. And he further states that the baby never took a breath. He says that Courtney had taken the baby into the house to try to perform CPR. So I guess at least they admit that they did something. I don't know. But then we come down to Kim Parks. So now she identifies Courtney as being the last person to see Rebecca, stating that she had picked her up. She then, I guess, a couple of weeks into this, November 22nd, she makes statements on social media stating that Courtney and Brad did something to Rebecca. She then fabricates a story that Rebecca was hit in the head. She fell having a seizure, and they could no longer revive her. And then further says that Brad and his friend disposed of a body in a swamp somewhere. She, during her interview, she admits to a relationship that she had with Fowler, which she claims was complicated by her sister. Imagine that. Her relationship with her sister's fiance was complicated by her pregnant sister. So yeah. Uh Fowler told her Rebecca had been taken care of and that she should lie to the police. She reports that another man was involved and that he helped Fowler dispose of Rebecca's body. Now, this other man, I will not bring his name up. It is in the affidavits if anybody chooses to go look, but he's actually not involved in the case. His name was thrown in there for whatever reason. He had a past relationship with both Kim and Rebecca. So they like to do this triangulation, I guess, of these men. And again, that's speculation. I don't know. I don't even know how true her statements are. But this was somebody that had a past relationship supposedly with her and her sister. And I don't know why she threw him in there. But he was not responsible for anything. His alibi has been checked, confirmed, and vetted by the police. She further claims that Rebecca's body had been stored somewhere, which that may be true because where her body was found had been searched prior and she wasn't found there. But again, who knows how true most of her statements are. I certainly don't, and I don't know. So we have Fowler had a relationship with Rebecca, Kim, and Courtney. Brad had a relationship with Courtney, possibly with Rebecca, or there was some type of contact there that may have resulted in the pregnancy of Rebecca, or may not have. That may be a bullshit story. We don't know. But yeah, that's where we're at with that. There's still a lot of things that we don't know. Where is the baby? What happened to the baby? According to the affidavits, the infant did not survive. It was allegedly placed into a bag, then a cooler, then disposed of. The baby's remains have not been recovered. There's no sign of the baby anywhere. We have to keep in mind that this would have been 3 weeks. 3 weeks? I think it's 3 weeks. From the 3rd until the 25th. That baby's body would have been in, I guess, a landfill at that point, if that's where the baby ended up. And again, that's based off of these 3 individuals' stories, not necessarily the truth. It could be true. It could also be true that, the baby is somewhere. Nobody knows until they find, unfortunately, that poor baby's remains. So where this case stands, well, the next major hearing date will be the end of January 2026. And this will be where a judge will decide if this case proceeds to trial. If the evidence that has been outlined in these affidavits is extensive enough to move the case forward, which, based off of the details and the fact that there are admittances in all three of their facts, but especially with the mom and the stepdad, or the mother and the stepfather, especially with their admittances that they killed her. I don't see why it wouldn't proceed forward. I mean, my guess, maybe they may take a plea. They may just plead guilty because they've already admitted their crimes. But we won't know until we know, really. So thankfully the case is going to move forward, and somebody will be paying for what they've done to this poor girl, to her, to the baby, to the community, really, to Rebecca's family that has adopted her, to Rebecca's other children. They've done a lot of harm. And I wish what the affidavits actually did was tell us why they did this harm. I don't know that anybody can explain why they've done this. It's is it possible that they did this out of revenge? Sure. There's talk of revenge in these affidavits. There's talk that Fowler turned Bradley in for not properly registering as a sex offender, and therefore this was revenge of that. There is talk of a rape and a miscarriage, so this could be revenge of that. There's talk of relationships with each other um, in a twisted, sick way. So it could be revenge for that. It could also be jealousy. Jealousy that Rebecca got Fowler instead of Courtney getting Fowler. Jealousy that Rebecca was having a baby and not Courtney having a baby. Uh, Jealousy from the sister for the other sister because she was more successful with the relationships. I don't really understand why the sister would bring in other people and lie and try to set people up for something that they didn't do. That's strange to me. To me, the sister's portion definitely screams jealousy. I don't know that there would be any other way, maybe some revenge in with the jealousy, but that would all stem from jealousy. You know, you have this girl who, for all intents and purposes, no offense against anybody, but she was cuter than her sister, in my opinion. And that right there could be the reason for jealousy. She's a year older. Maybe that's the reason for jealousy. Um, Revenge. I think that there's a point in the affidavits where Brad talks about Courtney didn't like that Rebecca always um or things of that nature. There's so many twisted, dark-seated details in this that are absolutely insane. And guess we won't know until we know why, if we ever know why. Um, it would be nice of them. The least that they could do is to maybe explain what went so wrong for this to have happened, what their motivation was, what they planned on doing. Because in the end, this never needed to happen. I mean, no crime really does, but this, to this extent, to this type of horror, violence, torture, never needed to happen this way. You can only classify people like this. I mean, honestly, when the prosecutor said that these people are evil personified, she was not kidding. This is evil. These people are the look of evil. These people are evil. Now, I have Fowler included on this slide. We can't really include him in that. He's got his unrelated drug charges. We don't know if he had anything to do with this. It doesn't seem so from the affidavits. I believe they actually said in the affidavits, Courtney had said that no, Fowler had nothing to do with this. But he plays his own role when you are so intertwined in relationships with people that are related to each other. Like, that's just never going to end well for anybody. It's fucking weird. Beyond that, it's just, I mean, it's really fucking weird. I couldn't imagine wanting to be with any of my children's significant other or wanting to be with somebody who has been with my mother. So to me, this is very, very strange and awkward. But yeah, we won't know everything until we know. But these people definitely they're evil. And I can't say that the sister's evil, but jealous. Um, yeah, that's. I mean, I don't know. You lied to the police, though. You could have a little touch of evil in you too. So that's about where this case stands, I guess. If there's anything else that comes up, any new updates, new court documents, I will link them again with a QR code. I won't show them. I think that Rebecca's family, the one that loved her, they deserve to be able to come online and not have to be force fed every word that's in there if they are not reading it on their own. Those type of details don't necessarily need to be displayed so vividly across somebody's screen in order for you to get the point across. What they have done. Everybody's speaking about what they've done. We obviously know the baby was not with Rebecca when Rebecca's body was found, and that would in itself explain a bit of what you can expect to read in that affidavit. I don't think going into the details of it is absolutely necessary. And that's why I don't have it up on my screen. But anyway, yeah, in closing, I appreciate your time. Rebecca deserves justice. Her baby deserves justice. This case deserves facts. I'll continue to file with any type of court updates that I can if they're released. Thanks for staying focused on what matters. I would say this also. This is interesting to us. I like true crime. I like the details of it. I like to know what happens in cases, why they happen, what makes people go so off the rails and unhinged like this. I like to be able to discuss that with people, but I don't like when a victim's family is brought into the bullshit. I don't think that's fair, and I don't think that's right. And I would just ask everybody who speaks about this case to keep in mind that she does have family out there that loves her. She has children that will grow up one day that love her. So please keep that in mind when you're discussing the details and the speculation and the wild claims. Yeah, so in closing, thanks for watching, guys. I am Lori Fax, and I will see you next time. Have a good weekend. Bye.